Okay, all right, my wonderful students, you're welcome to class today. Okay, today we want to look at some questions under variation. There are some questions that I'm going to repeat because of the request of some of you. I'm going to be looking at some questions and some new questions. We'll look at several questions today. So I want you to get your writing materials ready. And I want to believe you have invited your classmates, your friends, that the class has started. So those of you joining, if you have not done so, make sure you do so now. Okay, so make sure you invite your friends and get yourself ready for today's class. And don't forget, today's class is going to be interactive. So I want everybody to participate in today's class. Don't miss out anything. Okay, and I'm going to tell you today that all the questions we are going to be treating today is actually going to be impactful. It's going to make you change in your mathematics skill. All right. Okay. So let's just wait for maybe like 1 or 2 seconds, and let's see if others will join so that we have good number before we commence the class. Okay. Okay. I want every one of you to pay attention to today's class. Pay attention, 100% attention. All right. And your observation, you can always drop your observation. Now, before we commence, if you have not give a thumb to the class, ensure you do that. Do that straight away before we commence the class. And if you are new on this channel, don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that you will be duly updated whenever I'm on here. All right. So I want you to do that now. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay, so now let us look at the question. The new R. And what have you again? B1 as the new B, right? What do I mean by that? You know, R is increased by 50%. B is increased by 20%. Now, the B that is increased by 20% is B1. Okay, so now how do we write that now? Once it is increased, that means we have 120 over 100 B. Now, B has been increased by 20%. Okay, so this is how to write it. So this is increment of 20% in B. Now, let us now look at R. R is also increased by what? Let's see. R is increased by 50%. Can you see that now? R is increased by 50%. So what do we write now? So we write 50 over 150, sorry, over 100 R. Okay, I want to believe we all get that now. So now this can be, we can just simplify this. Now this is going to give you 15 over 10. So 0 cancels 0. We can still simplify further. So we have 5 goes there is 3. Okay. And 5 goes there is what? Is 2. So we can write 2 R. Okay. So now let's simplify this. This cancels this. Now let's see. 2 goes there is 6. And 2 goes there is what? Is 5. Okay. So now, so this one now is going to be 6 over 5B. Now, so the new B is this, the new R is this. Okay, so now what we want to do now is to incorporate this new R and this new B into the new equation. All right, this is the initial equation. Now let us write the new equation now. So that is A1 equals to KB. So we are going to follow this. B1 R1 raised to the power of 2. Can you see that? Can you connect that with this? Good. All right, now what we want to get is the new A. All right, we want to know the increment in A. So now let's plug in the new B and the new R. Let's plug that into this equation. So we have A1 equals to K times, what is B1? There is it. So we have 6 over 5 B, okay? So times, now this is R1 square. So now let me do the square here. So what's going to be R1 square? So R1 square is, we are squaring this one, that's going to be 3 over 2R squared. Okay? Now, and that gives you what? 9 over 4R squared. Because 3 times 3 is 9, 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, and R times R is R squared. Okay, so in this case now, I'll be having 9 over 4R squared. Okay, I want to believe we all get that now. Fine. So what is the next thing to do? Now let's have it this way. A1 equals to K times, or let's write it, let's bring out the number out. We have 6 over 5 times 9 over 4 times KBR squared. Okay? Hope you get that. So now let's see, we have A1 equals to, now what is, can we reduce? Yes, we can reduce now. 2 goes here is 2. 2 goes here is what? Is 3. Okay, so now when you use this to multiply this, we have 27 over. Now when you use this to multiply this, you have what? You have 10. Okay, so we now have KBR squared. All right, so that's what we have. And don't forget, now let us look at what we have here. Look at what we have here. What do we have here? A is the same thing as KBR squared. All right, A is KBR squared. So that means in this case now, I can replace this one with A. So I can replace this with A. That is the old or the original A. So now this now becomes A1 equals to 270 over 10A. Hope you understand that. So this has turned to A. So now, because I want to get the percentage increment in A, so I should find a way of making the denominator here to be 100. So I will multiply the numerator and the denominator by 10. I've not changed anything, still the same thing. So now I have A1 equals to 270 over 100 A. Can you see that now? All right, so what I have here and what I have here, they are the same thing. Now when you look at what we have here, I want to ask you now, so what is going to be the increment in value of A here? What is going to be the increment? What is the change? What is the change? Look at this. When B is increased by 20%, see the way we have it. We have 120 over 100. When R is increased by 50%, we have it this way. Now look at this. We now have A1 to be equals to 270 over 100. So can you tell me what is going to be the increment now if you just oppose that with what we have here? So what's going to be the increment in A? So I want you to drop your answer in the comment section. So do that and let me see what you have. What is going to be the increment in A? So I told you earlier that this class is going to be interactive. Make sure you are doing something. So just drop your answer and let me see what you have. So if you are new in this channel for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and don't also forget to give a thumb to the class. All right, let me see. What do we have? What's going to be the increment now in A? Yes, increment in A. All right, I can see Bello, Uber. Okay, Uber have not dropped an answer. You're only greeting us. Okay, so yes, I can see Bello's results, result. Yeah, Busayo. Who else do we have here? We have Ayomide. Yes, who else? So what's going to be the increment in A? I want everybody to drop their answer. This class should be interactive. Yes. Yes, Gmo. I can see your result as an Gmo. Okay, any other person? Okay. All right. Okay, so now let's work with what we have here. So I can see we're all doing fine. Yes, the answer is 170. So that is good, very smart of you. Now, how do you get this 170? Now look at this. You will just subtract 100 from this. What you have left is going to be the percentage increment in A. Because if it is A without increment, it's going to be 100 over 100%. That is A. But if it increases, so we just look at the difference between 100. So the difference between 100 and 270 is 170. So we will now write now that percentage increase in A is 170. Okay, the percentage increase in A is what? 170. So that means A is increased by 170%. Okay, A is increased by 170%. So that is the answer to the problem. So now that's the first part of the question. So, but before I clean this, let me quickly show you the way marks will be awarded to this type of question. All right. So now for getting the new R and the new B, there will be a block mark 1 for each. Okay, B1, B1. And for substituting the values of B1 and R1 into this equation we have here, there is a method mark 1. For substituting the value of A, replacing this by A, we have an accuracy mark of 1. And for now, getting this, extracting this from what we have here, we have an accuracy mark 1. So total for the first part of the question, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 marks. 5 marks. Okay. So now let's look at the second part of the question. The second part of the question. Now, the second part of the question. We already have the equation, the variation. Now, A is given, B is given, and R is given. So we just plug in this value into this equation to get the connecting formula. After that, we now get the value of A. All right, so now let's quickly do that. We have A equals to K times B times R squared. So A is what? A is 15. So we have 15 equals to, yes, K times B. And what is B? B is 3. So times 3 times R squared. And what is R? R is 5 over 2 squared. That is 2.5. 2.5 is the same thing as 5 over 2. Okay, so this is a mixed fraction. So now we have to get the value of K. So we can divide both sides by 3. So when you divide this by 3, you have 5 here. Okay, this one is 1. We have 5 equals to K times, now what we have here is 25 over over 4. Right? Because 5 times 5 is 25, 2 times 2 is 4. So again, I can divide both sides by 5. So divide this by 5. This 5 goes here, 1. 5 goes here, 5. Okay, so I have 1 equals to 5k over 4. I hope you understand that. All right, so what is the next thing? You can cross multiply. You have 5k equals to 4, k equals to 4 over 5. So this is the proportionality constant. So you can get the connecting formula. Let's plug in this constant into this. So we have thus a equals to 4br squared over 5. So that is what we have as the connecting formula. So you just replace k, replace it with 4 over 5. Okay, so now you have to find a when b is 1 and r is 10. So let's plug in the values. We have k times b is 1 times 10 squared over 5. Okay, so we have a equals to 4 times 100 over 5. So this, now 5 goes here, 1. 5 goes here is 20, right? So now 20 times 4, that gives you 100. So the answer to that problem is 100. So the second part of the question, for substituting, we have M1 for getting your constant, A1. Now for getting the connecting formula, we have B1. Substituting into the connecting formula M1, and for getting the correct answer, we have A1. Now that is 5 marks together. So the total marks for this question now is what? 10 marks. That's 10 marks. All right, so I want to believe we all understand this. Okay, so now we are moving down to another question. And don't forget, just like I've said, please don't miss any session of this class. Every session is is going to be impactful. All right, so now let's look at the next question I have here. This is the next question. All right, so before we solve this problem, so if you have not subscribed to this channel and you are new in this channel, ensure you do that. And don't forget to give a thumb to the class. Okay, so now let's look at the question. Now, the volume V of a gas varies jointly as the pressure P and it from 4 units to 6 units, while the temperature is increased from 10 units to 15 units. And the volume increases by 240 centimeter cube. Now find the original volume. So how do we solve this problem? Okay, so I want us to look at this problem. Let's see, how do we solve this problem? All right, I'm trying to look at what we have here. Yes. Okay. So how do we solve this type of problem? Now, let's look at it. The volume of a gas varies jointly as the pressure P and the temperature T. Now, so let's write that. Volume of a gas varies jointly as the pressure P. Varies jointly as pressure P and what? And the temperature. So we have temperature T. Okay, can we see the variation now? Okay, so that's the first thing to do. So this implies that V equals to K PT, where K is a constant. Okay, all right. So now let's move down. Now, if the pressure is increased from 4 units to 6 units, while the temperature is increased from 10 units to 15 units. Can you see what is happening? That means the original unit of pressure is what? Is 4, okay? Is 4. While the new pressure is what? Is 6. Okay, so now the same thing also applies to the temperature. Initial is what? 10 units and the new is going to be 15 units. So now let's write that out. So let's say original pressure. So we can call that, let's call that P1 is what? That's 4 units. Okay, so now original temperature, let's call that C1, and that is what? 10 units. Hope you get that. Okay, so now let's incorporate this here. So we are going to have V1. V1 is going to be the original volume, and that will be equals to K times 10 times 4 times sorry, that's 4 times 10. Okay, so this is for the pressure, while this is for the temperature, right? Okay, so now we have V1 equals to 40K. So this is the initial volume, or we say the original volume. Now, when the unit of the pressure is increased to 6 and the unit of the temperature is increased to 15. So what is going to be the volume? So let's get the second volume. Now we have V, okay, let's say P2, okay, P2 is going to be what? 6. And what is T2? T2 is 15, so that is 15. Okay, so we can get the volume V2. V2 is K times, now the P is now, P2 is what? 6, so times 6 times 15. I want to believe we understand that. Okay. So now this gives us what? V2 equals to 90K. Okay, so that is going to give you 90K. So now let's look at what the question says. The question now says that the volume increases by 240 centimeter cube. Do you understand that? Now, when the pressure is increased from 4 units to 6 units, and the temperature from 10 units to 15 units, now what happened to the volume? Okay, the volume is also increased, that is, it increases by, all right, so it has increased by 240 centimeter cube. Hope you understand that statement. So now, what are we going to write now? So we have V2, which is the new volume. Okay, V2 minus V1, that is going to give us 240, because this is the increment. All right, this is not the new volume, but is the increase in volume when the pressure and temperature change. Okay, so now what do we do next? Now we already have this to be 90K, okay, minus what is V1? V1 is what? 40K, and that gives us what? 240. Okay, so we can subtract. So when you subtract, what do we have? We have 50K equals to 240. All right, so we now have K to be equals to 240 over 50. Okay, so, and that gives us what? K is what? 24 over 5. Because it's 0, we cancel 0 here. All right, so I now have the proportionality constant. The question wants me to get the original volume. The original volume is the same thing as V1. Original volume is V1, and that is what I'm going to get. Now, what is going to be V1? So since we already know our constant, so we just plug in our constant into this equation. So we have V1 equals to 40K, and K is the same thing as 24 over 5. Okay, V1. So can you tell me what's going to be the answer now? So what's going to be the original volume? So do that and let me have your answer. So I told you this class is going to be interactive. So what is going to be the answer? The new volume, the original volume. Yes. Yes, I want you to drop your answer. What is going to be the original volume? Yeah. Okay, I can see Uber's results. Okay, so what of others? Yes. What's going to be the original volume? Okay. Yes, Bolaon 120. Yes. Ayomide, I can see 192. Okay. Yes. All right. Bello 120. Yes. Sidicats 192. 192. Okay. So okay, I can see Riscott answers. Okay, Abbas, progress, yes. All right, progress, you are just joining the class. You said you don't understand. You don't really understand. Okay, so that means you joined the class late. So, okay, don't worry. We do a recap. All right, so Marinette. Okay, fine. I can see good number of us have done something. All right, let's see how do we do this. This is a very simple one. So you have 5 goes here 1, 5 goes here 8. That's what to do. So we now have 8 times 24. So that's what to do. So what's 8 times 24? That's 192. And if I leave my answer this way, I will be wrong. Now, why will I be wrong? Because look at the question now. The question describes the volume in centimeter cube. So your answer to, since the question is asking for volume, so your answer to must also carry the units. So it must take the form of the question. So in this case now, we have centimeter cube. So that is going to be the original volume. All right, so hope you all get that. Okay, now because of progress. Yes, progress said, okay, probably she doesn't really understand. So you need to go through the video again. So you need to go through the video again. But the summary of everything we have there is we have an initial pressure and temperature. So we need to get the new volume, the initial volume rather, which is the original volume. So we just plug in into this equation, and that is how we arrive here. So we have the initial pressure to be 4 units, initial temperature to be 10 units. So we need to get this. So we just plug in these values into this and we have this. So it's as simple as what we have there. All right, so the same thing also applies to the new values of pressure and temperature. So we are given in the question. Okay, so we plug in the values into this. Okay. All right. So sorry for that. Okay, so we plug in the value. So once you insert the value, so you have this. Okay, so and now the question asks us to find the original volume uh, when the volume increases by this. It increases by this. So we just need to find the difference between the volumes. So you write this and you plug in the values of V2 and V1. We have that. So and that's what we have here. And we have our K. So now to get the new, the initial volume or the original volume, so we just put in the value, inside the value of K into this equation and you have your answer. Okay, so go through the video. You can flash back and go through what we have done. So, okay, so now let's move down to another question. Let's move down to another question. Okay, now this next question I want to solve for you is a question I think I've solved it maybe like 2 times on my channel. So, but some students still want me to re-explain again. So we are going to solve the problem now. So it's pretty simple. So now let's look at the problem. Let me look at it. Okay. So Okay, yes. This is the question. So I'm taking this question again. So I want every one of you to pay attention to how we are going to solve this problem. Okay, so we have done it before. Okay, so let's see how to solve this problem. Now this a past question, was asked some years back in a NECO examination. So let's see, if y varies directly as x raised to the power of n and x equals to 2, and when y is 4, x equals to 4 when y is 64. Find the connecting formula, hence find y when x is 3. So the question many of you ask is this partial variation or what is it? So I said it's direct variation. All right, so we need these two values. We need two pairs of value for us to be able to get the connecting formula and to be able to get the value of n. All right, so now let's see how do we solve this problem. Now the question says if y varies directly as x raised to the power of n, then y equals to k x raised to the power of n. All right, where k is the constant. Okay, so in the question we are given that x is 2 and when y is 4. So this is the first pair. So you plug in the values into the connecting formula. Okay, so now let's do that. What we have here, so we have y is 4, we have 4 equals to k times x. What is x? X is 2 raised to the power of n. All right, so I want to make k to be decided to the formula. So I divide both sides by coefficient of k, and that is what? 2 raised to the power of n. So now, so we have k to be equals to 4 over 2 raised to the power of n. So that is what we have as k. Do you understand that? Okay, good. So now, you can now move down here. Look at what we have here now. So that means the connecting formula, just like you want to find the connecting formula, so we just plug in this value. You plug it here. So instead of writing k now, so I will write 4 over 2 raised to the power of n. Now, can we do that? We have y equals to 4 over 2 raised to the power of n times x raised to the power of n. Okay? Now, we move down to the question again and take the next pair. So, y is 4, x is 4. Okay, sorry, y is 4, x is 4, y is 64. Sorry for that. X is 4 when y is 64. Okay, so now let's plug in this pair now. So we have 64 equals to 4 over 2 raised to the power of n times 4 raised to the power of n. Okay, since x is 4, you can see that now. All right, so now the next thing is to find this n. So how do we do this? All right, so here I have, this can be expressed as 2 raised to the power of 6. Okay, so let's write it as 2 raised to the power of 6. Now equals to, now this is the same thing as 2 raised to the power of 2 over 2 raised to the power of n times 2 raised to the power of 2n. Okay. All right. So now let's look at it. Now this is 2 raised to the power of 6 equals to 2 raised to the power of 2 plus 2 raised to the power of n minus n. Hope you understand. So when multiplying in your law of indices, what do you do to the powers? You add the powers. So I'm adding this and this. And when dividing, you subtract. So I need to subtract the power here. Okay. All right. So you can now see that we have equal base. So you can equate the powers. So we have 6 equals to 2. Now you can just take away n from 2n. So you now have plus n. right? So we have 6 minus 2 equals to n. So we have n equals to 4. All right, so we have gotten n now. So we can now plug in the value of n into this. So that's going to give us the proper connecting formula. So we have y equals to 4 over 2 raised to the power of 4 plus 2 raised to the power of n times x raised to the power of 4 because n is 4. Okay. All right, so now let's try and tidy up this. Now this is the same thing as y equals to 4 over 16 times x is equal to 4. Okay, because 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 16. So let's reduce. Now 4 goes here, 1, 4 goes here, 4. So we have y equals to x raised to the power of 4 over 4 is the connecting formula. Is the connecting formula. Okay, so I hope you all understand that. So that's how to solve the problem. All right, let's look at it now. The question wants us to get y when x is 36. So when x is 36, is that what we have there? Okay, so now in doing that, so y equals to x raised to the power of 4 over 4. So when x is 36, can you do that for me and tell me the answer? Do that and let's see what's going to be the value of y. When x is 36, so what is going to be the value of y? Okay, do that and drop your answer in the comment section. So I want to see the first person to give the correct answer. Yes, what is your answer? Okay. Yeah, Busayo, can you drop your answer? Let's see what is going to be the value of y when x is 36. Well, okay, I can see any money. This is 419,904. Okay. Yes. Another person. Yes. City Cats. What is your answer? Okay. I can see someone. That's 2 raised to the power of 2 raised to the power of 14. How do you get that? Okay. How do we get that? Okay. Another person. All right, fine. Now, let's see. So I'm expecting you to just plug in your value because what we have here now is going to give us a very big number. So let's see. So we have y equals to 36 raised to the power of 4 over 4. Okay, so now if you have to do this, because now multiplying 36 times 36 times 36, that's going to be a very big number. So if you have your calculator, you can always do that. But if not, you have to leave your answer in that form. Okay, so but let's see how to do it. Let's see. Now this can be written as this is 36 times 36 times 36 times 36 over 4. Okay, so now you can just simplify this just to remove it from this. 4 goes here, 1. Okay, we have 4 goes here, that's 9. So that is y equals to 9 times 36 raised to the power of 3. Okay, so this is going to be your answer. So if you can simplify further with your calculator, so you can do that. So, and that's going to be the answer to the problem. So how do we award marks to this? Okay, how do we award marks to this? From the starting point, I think I've claimed that, but you have a connecting formula. You substitute. For substituting, you have an M1. Okay, something I've been cleaned here. So for getting your constant, you have A1. For plugging your constant into the equation that has been cleaned, you have M1. Okay, so and for applying law of indices here, we still have M1. Don't forget you have substituted some things here. You substituted the value of y and the x here. So now for making use of your law of indices, you have M1. For getting n to be 4, A1. Okay, and for getting the correct connecting formula, you have B1. For substituting into the connecting formula, we have M1. And then for getting this answer here, you have A1 or the evaluation where you multiply everything. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 marks altogether. So that is the solution to that problem. So now we are moving down to another question. Another question. Make sure you are learning. Right. Now let's look at another question. Let me see. Yes. Now let's look at this question on the partial variation. Let's look at this question on the partial variation. Okay. Um, All right. Okay. So this is another question. So before we solve this problem, you are just joining this platform for the first time. Yes. Ensure you subscribe to this channel, and also you have not given a thumb to this class. Make sure you tap your like button. All right. So now let us look at the next problem here. Okay. So this question is under partial variation. The wages W of a worker varies partly as the number of days worked and partly as the square of the number of days. If W is 6,000 naira when D is 4 and W is 11,200 naira when D is 6. Don't forget D is the number of days. All right. So we have to find the connecting formula and the wages for 8 days. Okay, so how do we do this? This is a partial variation question. So now the question says the wages W of a worker varies partly as the number of days. So vary partly, that is equals to the number of days worked. Now the number of days worked, as we can see in the variable given here, is what? Is D. So we use small letter D. So that means small letter D is a variable. So immediately we put a constant there. Let's represent that constant with A, right? And partly as the square of the number of days, and partly as the square of the number of days. So that means D squared, number of days squared, all right? So you introduce a proportionality constant to that again, because this is a variable, so we have B, all right? So where A, B are constants. Okay, I want to believe you all understand this, because this is the first thing you must get right. So if you get this wrongly, there's no how you'll be able to get the right answer. So this one is very, very important. So let's go through it again. Now, the wages W of a worker varies partly. Once I hear partly, I know it's talking about partial variation. Partly as the number of days. Number of days, that is D. All right, number of days is a variable, so you introduce a proportionality constant A, okay, and plus partly as the square of the number of days. Square of the number of days, that is square of D. Right, so you can introduce the constant there. So, and that's all. Now the question now says if W is 6,000 naira when D is 4, that is number of days. So let's plug in this value, this pair. Let's plug them inside and let's see the first equation. So we have 6,000, which is your W, equals to D is 4. Okay, so we have 4A plus 4 square B. Hope you understand that. So we can simply write. So let's divide 2 by 4. We can do that. Can we divide 2 by 4? Now let's see. 4 goes in 6, that is 1, remainder 2. 4 goes in 20, that is what? That is 5. And put 0, 0. Okay? So equals to 4 goes here is going to give you what? A plus 4 goes in 4 square, that is going to give you 4b, because if you have 4 square is the same thing as 4 times 4. So when you divide that by 4, 4 cancel 1, 4. So you are left with just 1. Okay? All right. So that is what we have there. Now, that should be our first equation. Now let's look at the second one, the second pair given in the question. So we are told that W is 11,200 when D is 6. Okay, so now let's plug in that. Let's see what we have. So we have 11,200 equals to, now we are plugging that into this equation. So we have our, what's D? Now D is 6 this time around. So we have 6A plus 6 squared B. All right, so let's see. if 6 can go here. Now 6 goes in 11. So what do we have? We have 1. That we have 5 left. Okay, that's going to be 52. So how many 6 are we going to see in this? So will that give us, what will that give us? Is that 8? Okay, so let's see. Now can you tell me what will that give you? Okay, yes. Can you tell me what will it completely go? I want to be sure if it's going to completely go. All right, so let's divide that. 11200 divided by 6. Okay, it will not completely go. So I also want to check. So now let's see. We have this as 1200, or let's divide by 2 so that we just have a fraction. I think 2 should be able to go. Now 2 goes in 11, so that is 5, remainder 1. So you put the remainder in front of 2, that's 12. 2 goes in 12, that is 6. And then we have 0, 0. Okay. So 2 goes, we are supposed to have over 6, so this is going to be over 3, right? Okay, so now this is going to be A plus 6B. Yes, I hope we all get that. So now this is what we are supposed to have: 11200 over 6. Now I divide this by 2, I have 3, and this is the 3. So you divide this by 3, by 2, you have 5. Remain 1, you put that 1 in front of 2, that is 12. So 2 goes in 12, that is 6, you have 6. 2 goes in 0, 0, 2 goes in 0, you have 0. Okay. So now this is going to be the second equation. Okay. Now, so what is the next thing to do? We are going to subtract the equation from each other. So we subtract the equation from each other. So we can subtract equation 2 from equation 1. So now let's try and do that. So we have 1500 minus 5600 over 3. Okay, this minus this equals to, now A minus A. Now 4B minus 6B. That gives you minus 2B. I hope we all understand that. Now let's see. Let's convert this one to decimal and see what we have. Okay, so what are we supposed to have? 5600 divided by 3. So we have minus 1866.67 equals to minus 2B. Okay, so let's see. So when we subtract that from 1500, so what do we have? So we have minus 366.67 equals to minus 2B. Okay, so we have B to be equals to, so you divide both sides by 2. You have minus 366.67 over minus 2. So, and B will give us what when you divide by 2? So you have 183.3. So that's going to be the constant B. So let's get constant A. Okay, so what's going to be constant A? Yes. Now let's plug in this value into any of the equation, either equation 1 or equation 2. I think it's better we substitute into equation 1. So we have 1500 equals to A plus 4 times B. Now B is 183.3. Okay. Right, so we have 1005 equals to A plus. So when you multiply that by 4, so what do you have? So you have 733.3. Okay, so you can subtract this from both sides. So you have 1500 minus 733.3 equals to A. So what is going to be the value of A? So minus 1500. Okay, so that is going to give you 766.67. Okay, so that is what you have as your A. All right, so now we can now get the connecting formula since we have the values of A and B. So now let's plug in these values into the equation we have here. Okay, so we have those. We have W equals to now D times A. So we have 766.67 D plus, now what is B? 183.3 D squared. Okay, so that is what we have for the connecting formula. All right, so now the question asks us to find the wage for 8 days, the wages for 8 days. Okay, so that is when D is 8. So let's plug in the value of D. So we have W equals to 766.67 times 8 plus 183.3, 8 square. 8 square. Okay, so we have W equals to, now can we multiply that? So we have 766.6 times 8. This is 66.67 times 8. Okay, so now we have 6,133.36 plus let's see this. So this one is 64 now. 8 times 8 is 64. So we have 64 times 183.3. So what do you have? 11,731.2. Okay, so that's you had with this. We have 6,133.36. All right, so what is going to be the final answer to that problem? So we have W equals to 17,000. So it's going to be in Naira because we are talking about wages. So Naira, 17,864 and 56 kobo. So this is going to be the wages for 8 days. That is the wages for 8 days. All right, so that is the solution to the problem we just have on the board. Okay, so that's the solution we have, the solution to what we have on the board. So I want to believe we all get that. All right, so now we are moving down to this one. We are moving down to this. Okay, now let's move down to this one. if y varies directly as square root of m, and y equals to 9 when m equals to 9. Find y when m equals to 1 whole number 7/9. Okay, so this another question is a past question. All right, so let's see, how do we solve this problem? Now this looks very simple, and as you can see, it's simple. Now let's see. Now y varies directly as the square root of m. Okay, so and y equals to k square root of m, where k is a constant. All right. So now the next thing is to plug in these values. We plug in these values now to get our proportionality constant. So now I want you to do that. All right. So I've been working since, so I want you to do that. Get this proportionality constant and drop your answer in the comment section. So let us do that very fast. So I want to believe you all have your bio with you. So now find the proportionality constant and let me have your answer in the comment section. Now let's do that. Okay, this court have an answer. I can see 3. So yes, others. I'm waiting for Azan Jimo's answer. I'm waiting for Abbas. Yes, who else is there? Okay, I can see Bolaon's results. Yes, Eni, Adosumu Ayomide, Jimo. Yeah, what is K? Oluwaposi, yes, K. Miracle, K is 3. Yes. Who else? Every one of you should participate. Make sure you are doing something. All right, Belu Abi. Yes. Sidikot, I can see your answer. Anike, yes. Marinette. Oluwapo, yes, I can see that. And Ayla, yes. Okay, is 3. Okay, it seems every one of you have the same answer. So that means that will be correct. That should be correct. Okay, so everybody should not be wrong. Okay, so now let's see. Now we are giving a m to be 9, y to be 9. Let's plug in the value. So we have 9 equals to k square root of 9. So we have 9 equals to k times 3. So here you divide both sides by 3 because you're actually looking for k. So we have 9/3 equals to k. So k equals to what? 3. Good. So now you get the connecting formula. So just come down here and write everything we have here. So you have y equals to k square root of 3. All right, that's the connecting formula. Square root of, square root of m. Yes, square root of n. So the only thing that is changing there is k. So k will be what? 3. We have 3 here. All right, so this is the relationship between y and L. Okay. All right, so now the question wants you to find y when n is 1 number 7/9. Okay, will you do that for me now and let me see what do you have? You already have the connecting formula. Can you tell me what's going to be the answer to this? Yes, let's do that fast and drop our answer. Oh, very smart of Aisha. I can see that Aisha Marinette. Y is 3/2. Okay. Okay, so I want everybody to do something. Okay, so don't follow the crowd. Yes, so don't follow the crowd. Make sure you do something. So you drop your answer. Don't follow the crowd. Sometimes crowd may mislead you. So okay, Bolaon Y is 4. Any Y is 12. Okay. Okay, so yes, it is called. I can see your answer. That's 4/3. Yes. Okay, that has been retracted. Ayomide, Y is 4. Okay. Shutola, Anike, yes, I can see that. Olugbemi, I can see your results. Yes. Abbas, good. Abib, Bello, yes. Others should drop their answer. All right, so by now, I expect everyone to have finished. Okay, so now let's see which one is the answer. So I think I have like 3 um, different answers. So let's see which one will be the correct one. So now we are given M to be 1 whole number 7/9. So let's plug in this in. Let's plug in this. So we have square root of 1 whole number 7/9. So we have y equals to 3 square root of, now you convert this one to improper fraction. So we have 9 times 1, that's 9 plus 7, that's 16/9. All right, so we have y equals to 3. Now you can find square root of this. Okay, so we have times square root of 16 is 4 and square root of 9 is 3. Okay, so we have y equals to, so 3 cancel 3, so the answer is 4. All right, so those of you that have 4 as your answer, that's very good. Put your hands together for yourself. That's very smart of you. So that is the answer to the problem. So now let me quickly show you how do we award marks. So for substituting, we have M1. For getting the constant A1, the connecting formula, we have B1. For substituting into the connecting formula M1, and for getting the correct answer A1. So it's 5 marks question. All right, so that is the answer to the problem and the marking guide. All right, so we are going to be stopping here for today. I have a lot of questions I want to treat with you today, so but we are going to stop because of the time. So tomorrow is going to be another day. So now I have intention of looking at logical reasoning. So I have a lot of questions I want us to look at under logical reasoning. So tomorrow I want you to make it around this time we started. Okay. So and I'm going to employ you, if you have not subscribed, ensure you subscribe so that anytime I'm on here, you will be notified. And if you are still here, you didn't give a thumb to the class, ensure you do that. Okay, so I believe we all learn one or two things. So I'm still going to tell you again today that ensure you continue practicing. The more you practice, the better you become. Don't stop practicing. All right. So thank you very much for joining today's class. So I want to believe we all enjoy today's class. Thank you. I love you guys. Bye bye.